are driven by the finer things. I see more than materials and wealth. What have you got to give to me? What I don't already give myself. You are driven by the new episode of Illuminated Disclaimer. My name is Sydney and I want to be a life instructor. So the goal of Illuminated Disclaimer is just to make sure that people have different ways not only to relieve their stress but to see the beauty in life, see what people are capable of, to see something that is bigger than them so they can start helping and serving others. Now over these episodes I'll be talking about several different things that I do within myself, other things that I teach, other things that I train other people to do, and just talk more about my business, the business goals and how it's going. But this won't be for this episode, that will be for later episodes as well. But I just wanted to talk about something which affects us quite a lot on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, even on a year-to-year basis, and that's stress. As you can see, I'm using red, because red is a very powerful color, it's an alarming color, but I think when people talk to me about stress, I usually see it as the color red. But for this instance, I'm just going to use red because I just want these words to come to you. Now, if you need any advice on how to deal with these things, please send me a message, whether it's on my Instagram, which is random.disclaimer. There's 2 I's in disclaimer, by the way. Also, send me a comment or send me a message as well, and I can get back to you and just give you some more ideas on how to do things, how I do things usually when it comes to stress. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about 10 things very briefly, but just make sure that I make them as hard hitting as possible by showing you my lived experience and the ways that I overcame specific things. Now, I used to be a very stressed person, lived the high life, as you could say, just making sure that as soon as I wake up out the door and I only come back to sleep, and every day I would just do more and more and more, and I realized that where I wasn't resting and taking care of myself or even implementing ways to look after myself, I would let other people's comments aggravate me more than they should have. And I got into a perpetual cycle of where I would become stressed a lot for no significant reason. Now, these tips and hints that I'm going to give you might not necessarily help you straight away with looking after yourself when it comes to alleviating the stress, but these are proven ways that work for me, and I would say these are proven ways that will work for loads of people as well. So if you have anything else to add, please use the comment section. Also, while you do that, please can you like and subscribe, and also share that with people, because I have a vision. I want to make the world a better place, a happier place. So if you could share and like and subscribe, that would be absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. First, I want to talk about breath work. Now, the important thing is we don't really look after the way we breathe. We do a lot of shallow breathing. We usually breathe from our chest, but what we realize is we shouldn't be doing breathing as much from a diaphragm, but we should be taking deeper breaths a lot of the time. Now, what we don't understand is sometimes we get stressed and we get angry as a result, but if we take 5 minutes out just to focus on our breaths and just be mindful of the types of breath that we're taking, I can promise you and I can guarantee to a high degree that you'll feel better after those 5 minutes. Now, when it comes to stress and anger, we will just take things out, we will show our emotions, and without the lack of control of our emotions, we could do more damage than usual. So the most important thing is to just try to get to a certain area when you feel yourself getting stressed, being aware of that stress, not trying to push that stress away, accepting that stress, and just working on your breathing. Now, there's different types of breathing. There's the 4-6-8 method. You breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Then you hold for 6 seconds. And then you breathe out through your mouth, pursed lips for about 8 seconds. Do that for about a minute or two, several times a day, and you'll feel dizzy. You'll feel drunk on oxygen. That's when you realize that you have been doing a lot of shallow breathing. Now, the most important thing is we watch a lot of things which kind of put us into flight or fight response, especially shows when there's going to be a winner or a loser. Most important thing to make sure is that throughout you're still mindful of your breaths, because the more breaths you miss out, the more stress and more tension your body will have as a result. Number 2, exercise. Now, how many of you do exercise? I would say, from what I've seen, a lot of people do exercise, but with the advent of social media platforms and streaming services, sometimes, if not a lot of the time, we just stay at home and just watch things, you know, and we don't do the exercise that our body needs. If you think about it, if humankind was around for, let's just say, 50,000 years, then you are the first generation in a very long time that actively has everything at their fingertips. So, although it might feel natural to be on your phone all day, every day, and be in bed because you don't have to move and do everything, and everything comes to you, from a physical point of view, you're doing something that's completely unnatural. So I would say whenever you can, try to do some exercise. Now I'm saying don't run, don't play football, you don't have to do all these things. Just light working. For example, going for a walk, that's my preferred way of exercising, just going for a half an hour, 45-minute walk every day. And even if you're in a warm country, or not the UK, but if you're walking on a warmer month, then it makes more sense. But if it's colder, you can still walk quite fast. But the most important thing is walking and getting that exercise. So just walking, putting your legs up, even just being at home and dancing, or doing some stretches, all these things are very, very appreciative. Your body will love it, your body will understand it, your body will want more of it. And it might not feel like that at the time, but the more you sit there, the more unnatural positions your body will be in, and you will suffer as a result. So a lot of stress does come from our posture. It comes from the lack of exercise, and we don't really take that into consideration because we probably see things instantly. But over the term of over the run of a few months or even a few years, you'll start to see how we'll be degrading our body through lack of exercise. Number 3, journaling. Now, when it comes to journaling, very important, and I just want to briefly go into this one just for time's sake. When it comes to journaling, it's very important to journal because we hold on to so much information. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, a lot of us are on our phones just looking at information. Information, we can't literally stomach it. I'll talk about that specifically at a later episode. But when it comes to all that information, we might be going through things and we might neglect it. But if we don't write things out and journal it in the right way, then all this information will just stay. We just retain into this information, and you see your body changing after a while. You might not get as much sleep, you might have shoulders hunched up, you might have a bad back posture because you have so much information and you're not thinking about it. But what is also hard, which will be hard for us, is just making sure about our mental. We hold on to this information constantly, and without a way to bring it out into the forefront and actually look at what we're thinking, we just hold it onto it, and we start doing things like overthinking, for example. We don't want to do that, do we? Just thinking about the same things and getting to the worst possible case scenario. So I would say get a whiteboard, for example. I got one from Amazon, it was about £15, and anytime I'm thinking about the next steps, I write everything down. Even when I'm doing YouTube videos, you're going to see a lot more of me just writing down on the board, because there's no point in me just telling you things off my mind unless I have something that can help me prompt. That way, I will say things in a less stressful way, and in some cases, like hopefully this video, I could just do it in one take. If you're thinking about too much things, then your confidence and your self-esteem can take a knocking too, so just take that into consideration. Now, the final one I wanted to talk about Music. Now, we use music for very different means. We might listen to music because it calms us. We might listen to music because we want to go to the gym and we want to get energy. We might listen to music because someone suggested something, or we might just listen to music just to pass the time. But the most important thing is music, amongst other things on this list and in life in general, we can use it as a tool to make ourselves feel better when it comes to stress. Now, we need to make sure that we are careful with what certain music we listen to, because some music will probably make us more anxious, stressed, or agitated. Now, my type of music I listen to is just calming music, maybe Tibetan sound bowls, for example, and it could be higher frequency music. There's different musics on YouTube that you can experience, especially when you go to sleep. And the best thing to do is to merge that with things like journaling, just so you can take care of, you could just keep a place where you can observe yourself. You could just check and just see, okay, 2 weeks ago I listened to this music, am I feeling calmer? Cool. But a lot of the music we tend to listen to every now and again can make us more stressed, and we need to definitely factor that in. If you do feel stressed, what are you consuming? We are consumers. We're given information, and consuming is not just about eating food or buying a product. Consuming is everything that comes into our psyche, in through our ears or in through our eyes. All these things that we are consuming, we are absorbing, and we become it slowly. So, if you want to be calmer, listen to music that is more peaceful. If you want to be sad, you listen to sadder music. If you want all that energy, you listen to something with a high tempo. So just make sure that you note this and you change the music if you're feeling stressed. Do something that's nice and calm and serene, especially if you're in a vocation or you just have a lot of stress going on in day-to-day life. Now, I'm going to do my fifth and final way that I usually get rid of stress. Now, to me, it's just about challenging the thoughts. Now, as you can see, I'm in a classroom, and I'm in a classroom because I teach maths. And I always tell my students some important things, yeah? And one of them is, you come into life, and as a teacher, I'm supposed to be here to teach you how to answer questions. But I said, this class is different because I want you to question answers. Why is 2 plus 2 4? Why is half of 10 5? If I square 15, why is it 225? Now, some of these things are naturally built into our brain, but without fully understanding it, how can you teach yourself and others when it comes to different things? Now, maths is about critical thought, yeah? You need to think critically. You need to answer, if things don't feel right or seem right, why? Just make sure that the answers that you give to people is, I don't know. You need to understand and take full autonomy over you as an individual, and that comes by challenging thoughts. Now, if you're feeling stressed, it's about understanding why you feel stressed and being honest and candid and open about you, because if you don't understand the reason why you're getting stressed, will you find a way not to be stressed? I found out I was stressed because if somebody was taking control of my life, I feel like I'll be imprisoned. That was one thing that I realized that I needed to change in order to feel myself. When it comes to me rushing around and trying to do things, I realized that I was impatient. I challenged those thoughts too. Why am I impatient? Oh, because I'm late. How about I leave 15 minutes earlier? Then I won't be stressed out. Sometimes I get stressed about money, and then I realize when I get money, what am I doing with that money? I get that money, I spend all that money, I have no money. I can't live like that, so I had to change my ways. If I have money, I save a proportion of it every week or every time I get paid. What's the point of having all this money, spending all this money, and still being stressed out about the same thing a month later? They get us in perpetual debt cycles. And if you're one of those people, see what you do with money. Money flows freely around you and it comes in abundance. Everybody, or I won't say everybody, but a lot of people can have access to specific ways, whether it's getting benefits or getting a job. People have ways of having a frequent flow of money. And if you can find a way just to save a bit of it, or change your mindset about the concept of money, you'll see very significant returns. Myself, for example, I changed the ways I looked at money, and now I don't need to have or want nothing. I can afford everything myself. I can afford a lot of things, but it all comes from within. It all comes from challenging what you were taught about money. A lot of us see money as the real or evil, but money is not necessarily evil. Money is a resource, but the people might use the money to become evil or do evil things with the money. But the money is a tool. As they say, guns don't, kill people. People do, and that's the same thing with money. Money doesn't do evil things. It's the controllers of the money that do. So, saying that, next time you get money, are you going to use money as a tool and push it away like you're scared of it? Because if you're scared of money, the law of attraction is going to implement itself in, and you're not going to have money. If you're afraid of it, you're pushing it away. You get it, you push it away. You get it, push it away. As a fear-based mindset, find ways to attract your money. Make ways to make your money grow. Because I guarantee you can spend this money tomorrow, or you can find ways to make this money 10 times bigger, and then you can buy exactly what you want. And the chances are, a lot of things you'll buy when you have £1,000, by the time you get £10,000 from £1,000, it's not even going to matter anymore. The item, you're just going to be like, I don't need it anymore. And it's having that mindset, because once you have that mindset, you have autonomy not only about your finances, but you have that autonomy about everything you do in general. So that's 5 brief ways that I actually talk about dealing with stress in my life, and there will be several more coming in the course of the next few months as well, because I feel like there's several things that I like to do in order to reduce my stress. These things are good, and it's a given. A lot of these things you could be like, well, obviously music makes you calm down, but with everything on this list, how are you doing it? Are you doing it in a way that benefits you, or do you do it in a way which you assume to benefit you? It's about doing research, it's about speaking to people, it's about trying new things in a more patient way, and it's about doing things on your terms. We might look at other people and just say they're doing it right, but we are all different. We all got different bodies, all got different minds. Let's just find the right thing that works for us. Anyways, my name is Sydney. This has been Illuminated DiiSCLAIMER. Thank you so much, and let's make the world a better place.